Hi, I'm Rebecca Carner. Today's tuning is focusing on holding things loosely and lightly. I recently heard a quote that what we think is most personal is most universal. And when I was journaling this morning, I was writing two words that pertain to some elements in my life. And my ask was to be able to hold things loosely and lightly around this particular circumstance. And while this morning that felt very personal to me in my life, that quote dropped in. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm asking for support around holding something that I take very seriously and that I'm very passionate about, but I'm looking for a loose and light perspective on it, then that must be the universal need. And I looked down at those two words, loosely and lightly, and I thought, well, there you have it. That's what I'm going to tune towards today. A lot of the teachings in Buddhism do a really elegant job of putting words to taking something seriously and also looking through a really clean, simple lens at it. Even though any given situation can be very, very complex, it can be regarded very tenderly, very compassionately, and very simply, not necessarily in a way to make it easy or to oversimplify, but that to look at it with a real fundamental tenderness. And as I was contemplating this tuning, after looking at those words and realizing that I had arrived at what I was going to tune towards for this video, I was thinking of that expression, all the things a person has, quote, on their plate. Nice. And having a lot on your plate, I feel like everybody sort of has an experience of that lately. And I thought, well, even if somebody has 50,000 things, quote, on their plate, does that really make the plate any heavier? And I've really been noticing my own tendency to hold in my heart and in my mind things that are very dear to me, with such gravitas that it actually gives them weight, and I sort of find by the end of the day that things feel heavy and that I'm physically exhausted by that sort of cosmic weight, atomic weight of things. And I thought, okay, well, in any given day, we may or may not be able to offload any number of things on our plate, or we may not, in any given moment, be able to reduce the amount of fronts we're applying ourselves to. But if we keep in mind that we can hold something really loosely and with a really light touch, and sort of assign it a little less density and just keep things light, how different our days would feel. Everybody speaking of light, let's take a nice big deep breath. If if ever you find yourself feeling or thinking very heavily about something, one of the quickest and easiest ways to lighten the load is to just breathe into it. Nice. All right, so I've gotten the Earth Star and the Sun Star energy centers activated, sort of online. We've got the channel open. Now I'm just going to check in with the energy points and see what part of the energetic body wants to be addressed around the topic. Where can we bring ease and coherence to help support us in doing all that we do with a loose grasp and a light touch? So it's interesting, when I do this weighted fork check on what's asking for help, I normally am sort of drawn to work on the area that felt the heaviest. Can't make this up, right? That felt the heaviest. And today, ironically, I'm going to work on the energy center which felt the lightest. Although, even though we're tuning towards lightness, when it felt light, it actually felt a little underpowered. Almost like it wasn't as fortified as my other checkpoints were. So, in that same way, you would need sort of, well, if you think of that expression, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. There. So the whole system is a chain, right? The energy body, both the collective energy body and then any individual person's energy body, is a system. It's a chain. And the weakest link today is around the solar plexus region, which is sort of the hub of the energy body, in that it represents our personal power. The solar plexus is represented by the color yellow most frequently. And in that way, it represents our own sort of personal sun, our own energy source. So it makes sense to me that if that feels underpowered, it would be really hard for us to be standing in our strength to be able to then hold something quite lightly. Whereas if you feel like you don't quite have enough gumption and enough juice, enough power, then you're going to cling to something, because while you're trying to hold on to it, you're also sort of clinging to it for support if you can't sort of stand in your own supported, balanced self to be able to then hold something quite loosely and quite lightly. your body, really imagine like your belly being this bellows that they use to stoke the fires of like a blacksmith in the olden times, right? And when you take your next breath, really, really try to broaden your diaphragm and almost kind of exaggeratedly push out your belly. And imagine the breath that you're breathing in sort of stoking those fires and really giving the power of oxygen to the embers to stoke up your internal energy source. Interesting. The imagery that's coming to mind is really my hockey puck. It's a Viceroy regular NHL hockey puck that is really my go-to activator for my forks. So this disc of plastic is incredibly integral to the work that I do. And yet, if I grip my hockey puck like this and white knuckle it and think, oh, hockey puck, you're so important to me, you're so important to this work, I couldn't do this without you, so I gotta hold you like this. All I'm gonna do is rip up the muscles in my arms, and it's not gonna do anything for the hockey puck, nor is it going to make the hockey puck any more effective in my work, nor is it going to keep it around any longer or anything, nor is it going to, in that way, I mean, if I have this in some sort of death grip, it's not going to make it's not going to have any effect on my sessions whatsoever, whether they're one of these group sessions or an individual session. So if I hold it incredibly lightly, it has the exact same effect on the fork, and it in no way diminishes how important it is to what I do. And so in that way, by fortifying and really resonating and cohering this central energy center, it's giving us the sort of internal grip, if you will, to realize even the things that I can do, everything that I need. There we go. I have everything I need to do, everything that I have to do. And I can wear it a lot more lightly. A dear friend of mine was sharing a perspective to me from her 12-step program, wherein I guess the leader or her sponsor, someone made the reference to wear your addiction like a loose garment rather than like a straitjacket. Like, it's still there, it's still a part of your day, but it doesn't have to bind you and it doesn't have to confine you. It can be an accepted part of you without the contraction. And I thought that was a really beautiful metaphor, not only for addiction or any sort of personal struggle that a person might go through in a day, but just for life in general. All the endeavors, all the work, all the parenting, all the relationship, all the things that we impassionately engage in every day doesn't have to feel like an anvil. You can be just as committed and just as passionate about something that you hold quite lightly. So as I was prepping for this video, one of the songs that came to mind after I arrived at the words that I was going to tune towards today, it brought to mind, I think, often in song lyrics. There's a 38 special song called Hold On Loosely. And so as I was getting ready for the video, I put that on because it was making me laugh. So truly, hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're going to lose control. And that's just not going to help anything. So, just hold on loosely. Connecting up, I'm calming up our central energy point to the energy point of all that is. I see I can't stop laughing. It feels lighter. Like we did it, y'all. It feels lighter. I never cease to wonder at how amazingly beautiful and almost ironically literal this work can be. That was wonderful, to the point where it's so much lighter, it's making me laugh. All right, so I'm going to wrap up the energy field. Oh, this was so much fun. All right, outstanding. Have a great week. I'm Rebecca Carner. Go to RebeccaCarner.com for more information about tunings and what all that is, or if you'd like to book a private session. Thanks.